Hi, I'm Dan Baden. I'm a family physician at CDC and a published game designer outside of work. For the last 10 years, I've worked to advance public health through the use of games, and I'm here today to talk to you about how to do that. How many of you remember the game Oregon Trail, and how many of you have died of dysentery? Many people are quite fond of it. Uh, the game, not dysentery. I've played it, I've watched my kids play it, and despite it being released in 1974, it's still quite popular. In fact, you can buy handheld or card game versions of it in stores. This was an early example of a fun game that helped you learn. The term for this type of game was edutainment in the 90s. Unfortunately, many times it was just an educational lesson with a game pasted on top. They usually weren't very effective and they often weren't very fun. In fact, the term chocolate-covered broccoli was used to describe them. Math Blaster, which came out in 1983, would pop an equation up on the screen and then let you shoot a guy out of a cannon at the right answer. It was an early example of an edutainment title, but the edu portion was always in your face. We're looking for something different here. We'd love to have the content embedded in an engaging way rather than in your face. The Capitalism series, which came out in 1995, did a really nice job of this. They took difficult concepts like supply chains, vertical monopolies, brand loyalty, and embedded all those in the game. They did such a nice job and they're so effective that both Harvard and Stanford took this game and used it in their business classes. Similarly, Sim Health, which came out in 1994, let you make policy decisions. It also had a graphical display of different buildings representing different sectors of the economy. So if you wanted to implement a single payer health system, you could watch the private insurance company building start crumbling and fall down. Wasn't a great game, but it took a difficult concept and made it available to people in a manner that they could understand and was actually moderately engaging. Democracy series, which started in 2005 and has a new version coming out this year, took a similar approach. You became president or prime minister of a country and then could implement policies. You could then sit back and watch the impacts ripple across society. So say you raised educational spending, you might actually see poverty go down, but your deficit might go up and the number of people employed in the public sector might go up. Both of these might irritate the capitalists who you're relying on to get reelected. So balancing difficult decisions while learning about how the society is interconnected. An example that's may not really be a game is something the New York Times put out back in 2010 called You Fix the Budget, where you could decide how much the government would spend on defense and education and farm subsidies and foreign aid. And then you see kind of impacts down the road. It wasn't very sophisticated, but it was engaging enough to get people to come back and try different things, learning the whole time. So all of these games I just mentioned, they take difficult concepts and make it available in an engaging manner so people learn while they're having fun. But they don't have to be policy games. ReMission was a third-person shooter that was developed by Hope Labs back in the early 2000s. They wanted to help young cancer patients understand the importance of staying on their medicine. They did a study and were able to publish in the Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics and demonstrate that kids who played this game had a better understanding of their disease and a better adherence to their medical treatment. Serious games can have an impact. And speaking of impact, Madden NFL. That may not be the first thing you think of when we're talking about serious games, but many people are serious about this game. And when the NFL adopted concussion guidance to help protect football players, EA Sports embedded that into this game. Now, when you're playing this game, you have to think about concussions and learn about concussions as you're fielding a team. It's an elegant way of taking difficult, important concepts and embedding them into a game where it's a natural part of the game rather than in your face. In 2013 and 2014, CDC made our own game jams. In 2014, we had one of the winners was called I'm Positive. It was an interactive game about someone who finds out they have HIV and then learns to live with it. It had an engaging story and embedded mini games, similar to what Telltale Games has done with their Walking Dead series. We did a study on this game and were able to demonstrate that people who played the game had an increased knowledge and intention to change behaviors a month down the road, despite only having played the game for 10 minutes. So again, serious games can have an impact. So that's a very quick overview of serious games. Hopefully you kind of get an idea of what we're looking for. We'd like you to develop games that the learning component is embedded and comes across in a natural manner and isn't in your face. So try not to build a FORTNITE clone where you have to answer a COVID question in order to regain health or get more ammo. The goal here is to help people learn in an engaging manner, not a painful one. So be creative and have fun. Good luck.